Hello Galactic family. Question: my wife and I, followed by a dream, have built and settled in our current home for 16 years. To this day, we would like to approach our grandchildren. 4 years ago we tried to sell this house, and despite our attempts, lowering the price, beautification of the good and contacts, nothing materializes. Was there an impediment or something else? Is not really an impediment, nor a blockade, nor an enchantment of the place. For example, if, as this brother says, he managed to improve the place, adjust the price and nothing happens, the answer, it is obvious what you like is not what you owe. What you owe, it is possibly, especially after 4 years, is to remain there. Of course, if there is no purely material problem, this is for example an overvalued price or a particular situation. The light is ease and evidence, it is light that decides, it is no longer your person and you see it in your life. But on the other hand, if you have issued it, you said that you would like to approach your grandchildren, if you have issued this desire that is totally legitimate, if it comes from the person but is in contradiction with its eternity that is to remain in that place, what do you believe will happen with the intensity of light that is increasingly important? There will never be buyer, even if you donate the house. Of course, it is certainly, I would say, a good reason, provided that this is not a price issue or something else, but if all you seem logical and in agreement, is that you should not leave. Remember, the intelligence of light gets things done very fast, at all levels. Often it is even brilliant, and it will become increasingly glaring with regard to any changes that they are. But if you observe that you are about to quibble, a coup is yes, one stroke you will raise questions in relation to her husband, in relation to women, the family, the place of your life, and other days, other issues, certainly not the light. The light boosted something that led, if I may say, one person's reaction. What the light loves is not always what you love, and it is sometimes diametrically opposed. This is where you must also rediscover childhood and innocence and say yes to the light, and see what unfolds. The will of light is far superior to your will. The intelligence of light is by far much more developed than your mental intelligence or your person. Now you are the light, there is no word play that. So if you are the light, in fact, all the rest follows, without hesitation, without difficulty, without prevarication, and even the sale of a house is done in fluidity. Sometimes, of course, the light wants them, so to speak, just for her, since that's what you are, coming sometimes put an end to hobbies, to occupations, habits, behaviors. In such cases it is better to accept, since, as I said, the denial process, negotiation, denial, not in relation to humanity shock, but in relation to yourself, in that you have to live in this period, risk being very confusing, and I would say, more and more uncomfortable. You cannot claim the light and lead to the inverse of light. It was still possible, I said a few years ago, with Turnicota. This is no longer possible, and the contradiction between the ephemeral and the eternal will blow you in the face and is healthy, I would say, it is a blessing, since you cannot do for yourselves because of your hesitation, to your questions, will be done in forced march by the light, and you will understand than ever before. What do you mean you cannot say I am the light when it feel like you, and no longer be the light when it does not fancy you? You see what that means? If you really are the light, effectively the light, the viewer is subjected to light, it is, and the observer cannot do anything, and this is Antrishoka in consciousness and head, it is Antrishoka in your body, this is Antrishoka in your life, whereas if you were light, everything is easy, Everything is fluid, whether it concern to your body and for your life in all its aspects. There is no half measure, no more prevarication, and there is more opportunity to play. Increasingly, you will feel that will be as one, as the other, and at any given time, you can no longer move there where you are. It's up to you to choose, the ephemeral and the eternal, knowing that the Lord is assured, but not in the same circumstances, after the appeal of Mary. The difficulty is to understand that the light acts in your place. This does not mean that you are lazy, this does not mean that you do not decide anything, it means that you go according to the light either to a decision whatever. It means that the decision should not be altered by your history or the personal coloring, in relation to any past or any future. The real decision is taken on the freedom of the moment, and does not take into account the past history or any projections that there in any future whatsoever. It's the game of consciousness, and the consciousness that unfolds on your field of experience on the screen of your life. Then you have other questions? Question: is there a difference between the enlightenment and the absolute? Of course, the realization is not the absolute. Lighting is a Luciferian principle, is the light in the head, but if the light does not find the access path to the heart, you remain in the Luciferian illusion of the third eye. You are empowered, you are mediums, you feel the energy, but you are not in the heart. Today, I would say it's better to have the innocence of the child, being in the heart, and have no spiritual potential. This has been said and repeated: seek the kingdom of God that is within you. Now you cannot get it, you can only recognize it because it is really and concretely what you are, and you cannot lead from the front matches the personality and the eternity game. That's what puts problem, as from the month of June, and they will put more and more until the time when you will say yes or no. Another question. Why is a living form is always the food of another living form? But because it is only what is produced in 3D dissociated. You know very well that 3D unified, some brothers and sisters have the same or digestive tract or reproductive tract, and yet they have a carbon body. They feed light the way, there, more and more of you who feeds light, you want it or not. The vitality is a function of power, but if the vibrato fire is there, it becomes food, this vibrational fire, and you see it everywhere among you, in you. Or do you have a ferocious appetite, or you have no more appetite, but is not you who decide to fast or do this or that? This is still the ego. You want to control, you want to master, you want to achieve, in any way. But it is the light who decides. Also, you do not have to decide to do a fast or deprive of whatever. This is because the live feeling of hunger or anything else no longer exists. And by the way, if you're going to meet this absence of hunger and you eat, you will be sick. On the other hand, unlike literally gorge themselves because there are fears, because predation is ubiquitous in carbonaceous worlds confined. As mentioned in the question, each feeds the kingdom to it lower, but in unified dimensions, food and reproduction does not exist, so the notion of family, where she is in this. And a true family of the heart, is not a blood family. Blood ties are the most terrible confinement that may exist. The Christ said, and I told you countless times. It is by blood ties, at the individual level, the archons confine the world and your conscience. You well imagine that in addition to 3D, the notion of parent-child does not exist. Mary is our mother, all because she sewed this world with his DNA. But this branch loop is not a blood bond, is a soul tie and spirit. As I said, and as you realize in your lives, absolutely everything is ready to fly to pieces amid the ephemeral, and if you are in your eternity, you watch it in great joy, if I can say, and instead the person is in front, as well as fears, anxieties will perform again. Serves no one to control one or the other, unite the fastest spontaneity and childhood, is truly the best advice I can give you at this time. All satisfactions come and will come more and more of your eternity and absolutely no more than your desires or pleasures, or actions you lead this world. But do not force it, or it is, and you live it, or it is not. And if it is not, you do not have to pick it up, no more, because the more you seek, the more you move away from it. You must be empty, empty of you, devoid of history, devoid of emotions, mind empty, at times when it can produce. I do not speak in your life every day because one is needed, you know it, but who dominates, who is preeminent in such personal and ephemeral activities? Your person or the light too, now? The result is profoundly different. In one case, there is peace, happiness, whatever gets you, whatever comes around you, otherwise, there is hesitation, prevarication and misunderstanding. So it is, I would say, in the last scene of the last chapter of the last act that is played, and there are opportunities to truly see what it is to see, as ever,